take the simple stuff off. This one's in the door jamb, that one and that one. Of course they're not simple because, as you can see, one of those came off pretty good and the other one's a beast. It stripped out. I ended up cutting a slot in it and having to smash it with a little impact thing there to get it to come loose, so be prepared for that. This little rubber piece fits up there, however it goes, but they're just held on with little plastic grommets. I use a little plastic fork tool to pry those little buttons off. Looks like there's a little bit of tape in there or something. And then I think there's one screw up underneath it. And across the bottom, simple. So there's like 1, 2, 3 little screws in the bottom. There's one here in the fender. And then you take this little cover plate off, and there's one screw there, one here, one here, and then I think there's a few little clips on the fender liner that you have to pop off. They're real simple little plastic things. When you get the fender, you got to take this off. You have to take off the tail light, a screw here and a screw here that goes into the fender. Take those two off and then take the headlight and push it that way a little bit, because there's a pin right here that engages a little grommet. So you have to kind of twist it and push it that way and pop it up and lay it up here. This rear bumper skin, I don't know if you've seen these little clips before. That's what holds it. It engages that little tiny hole right there. And there's not much to it, but usually by the time you take this one screw out, reach a 10mm straight up through here, you can get that one. Take that loose in the fender and then just jiggle it, and it usually pops out of this little clip, which was attached right there. Now if you want to replace those clips, it catches this tiny little tit on there. That little thing, if yours is busted off, I got some new ones. That's the 52115 17020. So when you get all that loose and pull the fender loose, it's going to be hanging by this, which is your door disconnect for the gas door. And you have to have somebody hold the fender while you reach around and fight with this thing. Let me stick the camera in my mouth. I'll try to show you how this clip works. It's a quarter turn. So as you can see, that little, when you turn that little thing, it's got a little nub on it that makes it really hard to twist, but it is just a quarter turn. There, yeah, it was tough. So you get that disconnected, then you pull this loose, then you have to pull this piece out before you can get this loose. So that's all pretty self-explanatory. This little piece up here, sorry I missed that one, on top of the fender up here, sits like that. It's got one screw and it has one little nub, and mine was glued to some nasty glue that was really hard to pry off, but there's not much holding it on, just that one screw, and the rest should just pry off, and that just sits right up on top there. The last piece that's tricky is these two screws here, that one and that one. There's a metal piece that I've taken off. This is the one I ground the three, what the people are calling rivets, from the top, and left it on the car, took the fender off, left that piece here. Well, that piece really should stay with the fender. So the way you get it off is reach around through the top and get the screw head right there, and another screw head right there. And then that little piece will stay with the fender, and you won't have to grind off rivet heads. So I made this little piece of tape. I'll show you on my other car how to reach those. That looks like it might be a little tough to break loose. If you left that piece on the fender and pulled it off with the fender, you'd have to kind of push and yank and pry to get that piece to stay with the fender. I made this little piece of tape off the edge of the door, 6 inches to the first screw, 10 3/4 to that screw, and then 12 3/4 to this one. I guess you'd have to take all three of them out to get the fender off. So this piece, it just seemed to be pressed on. It's really stiff that way. It doesn't want to move. But I was trying to keep from tearing up the rubber. So I think if you take those 3 screws out, the whole fender, everything should come straight this way. And I'll show you how to reach those too on the other car out here. If you just pop the top loose, you can feel the bolt head right there, but it's inside a piece of plastic, and that bolt head is exposed right there. And then this one, let me pop this open a little more, is hidden behind a piece of plastic trim here. And if you pry that fabric down, you can reach the, well, mine's missing. Somebody's had the fender off. There should be a screw right there. So you have to pry this little piece of fabric down to get it at that screw and to get at this screw. Yeah, that's about it.